All right, so what's good? What's good? It's your man King Ray, man, back up in the joint again. Let's get ready to do another one. It's King Ray, back up in the joint. Let's get ready, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it. To all the hunters of blessings in the joint, I appreciate y'all being in the joint. Wes, appreciate you, man. Young Chaos, what's good? What's good? Common sense ain't common. I see you, bro. K Swan, what's good, man? Logical thoughts. What's up with you, brother? Good to see you in the building. Harrying, I see you in the building again, man. See you in the building again. KT, what up, KT? Good to see you in the jump. Royal T, what up, what up, what up? Ed Cruz, what up, what up, what up? Official Rico Finessa, man. I see you in the joint as well. Let's get the people, man, another minute and a half to get up in the joint, and then we're going to go ahead and get physical. Physical and spiritual, man. We're gonna put the spiritual over the physical. How to protect your peace from those who have no peace of their own. Very valuable discussion that we're gonna have today. How to protect your peace from those who have no peace of their own. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. Rob, what's good, brother? Good to see you. John Spiritual Alpha, I see you, brother. I see you, man. Keep it retro. What's good, brother? Good to see you in the joint. Back again. Rob, appreciate the 2 bones, brother. Appreciate it. Dharma with T, I see you. I see you. Rob Live, what up? What up? All right, let's get ready to do this, man. All right, all right. You know, the real deal with peace is most times people don't take your peace or destroy your peace. You invite chaos into your peace. People can't just bombard your peace with their chaos. You have to invite it in. Chaos is like a vampire at your doorway. It can't enter until you invite it in. You have to literally look at people with chaos in their lives and invite them into yours. And instantly, their chaos becomes yours. You understand me? Their chaos instantly becomes yours. GC, salute, brother, salute. My squad representative. Appreciate you being in the joint, bro. People bring you their issues. And you being someone who's striving to be the best version of yourself and striving to be a positive influence and have a positive effect on people's lives, you're likely to embody wherever their troubles are. Whatever their issue is, you're going to take it on as your own. And so your resources, both spiritual, financial, your emotional peace, your mental stability, and of course your peace of mind is going to be exposed to their troubles. If someone doesn't have peace, you can't share your peace with them. They got to find their own peace. Your peace is yours. It's not meant for you to share. Young Markel, good to see you in the joint, man. We back again. People who come to you with their emotional issues, unless you're someone who's being paid, if that is your career, if your chosen career path is to be a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a counselor of any kind, then yes, you allow people to bring their problems into your life because that's what you get paid for. It's worth being paid for. So if it's not your job to be an emotional sponge for people, all you're doing is exposing your peace to their chaos. If it's not your job to soak up other people's personal, mental, spiritual, emotional issues, all you're doing is exposing your peace to their chaos. And let me tell you something. Peace is separate from chaos. There is no chaos in peace, and there is no peace in chaos. When you look at countries that are at war, when countries are warring, there is no peace. Peace doesn't come until someone surrenders, until an end declaration is expressed by someone, by either side of the conflict. That's when peace has an opportunity to have a foundation. Peace's foundation is not in chaos, and chaos's foundation is not in peace. So when you think about it, this is all about peace. Peace is an energy force field that surrounds your life that keeps chaos out. You have to literally open the door to your force field and allow someone's chaos in. So the number one way to protect your peace is to keep people's chaos out. Don't willingly allow people's chaos, people's turmoil, people's drama, people's trauma into your life. You've had enough of your own, correct? Put a one in the chat if you've already had enough of your own chaos and you don't need anybody's chaos. Put a one in the chat if you've already had enough of your own trauma and you don't need anybody else's trauma. Put a one in the chat if you've already had enough of your own drama and you don't need anybody else's drama. Put a one in the chat if you already had enough of your own turmoil and you don't need anybody else's turmoil. We're in a lifelong state of recovery from all types of things. PTSD from being in certain violent environments. Do you understand if you grew up in an environment where you actually had to defend your life on a daily basis or be prepared to defend your life on a daily basis? Yes, you can say we all have to generally, but I mean in an environment where it's not just possible, it's not just probable, it is likely that you're going to have to defend your life on a daily basis, where you can go through a week and have to defend your life 3 times or even more. We've all had our own trauma enough. You protect your peace by not allowing people access to it. When you're at peace and someone is in chaos, there's a huge transference of energy, because here's what you got to understand. They're living in chaos. So their chaos is just their normality. When you expose yourself to that chaos, it looms large in your life because it's the opposite of your normality. And it's the same thing with your peace. When you expose them to your peace and expose your peace to them, your peace is an amazing thing. It makes them thirst for more of your peace. So while you're letting them into your peace as a show of love, as a show of affection, as a show of consideration, they're attacking your peace out of desperation. They got to have more of it. They're not even in their right frame of mind. They just want the peace because the peace feels so much better than the chaos in which they've existed for however long they've existed within that chaos. That energy transfer is real, bro. When you sense chaos in your life, I promise you, 100% of the time, your life will start to be chaotic. You can go from a place of peace to a place of total chaos, a place of absolute chaos. And it's just not where you ought to be. It's not where you want to be. It's not where I want to be. It's not where any of us want to be. We don't intend to blend our peace with chaos, but we do because we think we're being nice. That's the problem with being nice. You always want to be nice. So you think being nice to someone else at the cost of your own peace is you being nice? That's you being foolish. There's a thin line between being nice and being foolish. There's a thin line between being appreciated and being used. There's a thin line between being lovable and being gullible. You got to know which side of the line you're on. Famo, salute. Appreciate you being back in the joint, man. Always on deck, man. Appreciate you, brother. It's always good when you can get through, bro. I know you be on that road getting to it. It's always good when you can come through, man. You got to think about this, man. That's why we always say, my circle is so small, a square can't fit in. That's no knock on a square. But if my circle is circles, why would I let a square in? And I'm not saying you don't help people, you don't benefit people, you don't be there for people. That's different than allowing someone access to your peace. Listen, brothers, I'm going to be honest with you. If you are ever invited, if you are ever invited into my home, you know that I hold you in high regard, absolute high regard. If ever that happens, then you know I hold you in such high regard that you should be pleased. You should be well pleased with the energy that you put off, because I take it as all positive energy. All positive energy. Because you can't be in my environment if I don't see the peace in you. Listen, I mean, listen, man. Listen, there's people, man, that I'm cool with. There's people I'm absolutely cool with, man. We do business, we do a bunch of things, but you coming to my crib is a no-go. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. And the thing is, a lot of times, even the people that are peaceful in my life, we just don't hang out at each other's crib. Like, we understand the value of having your peace. Like, I ain't never had ever in my life. My spot has never been the hangout spot. Ain't never been a spot you come and drink, or you come and, oh, I be throwing, man, listen, I did one. I'm gonna tell y'all something funny right quick. I held one Super Bowl party, man, 1 year. And I was grinding so hard. I had my vending joint then, man. I was grinding so hard that I slept through the entire first half. Once kickoff happened, bro, I didn't make it to the first score. You understand me? I didn't make it to the first score. I was out. And when I woke up, it was halftime. Guys were like, man, I'm going ahead. No, it wasn't even halftime. I missed the halftime show and everything. When I woke up, bro, to start the third quarter, I was in my recliner, out like a light. You know what I'm saying? People all around me, man. Guys around me, man. Their ladies in the kitchen with my lady, man. They're all in there hanging out, man, and eating and doing whatever they doing. I'm gone. You understand? But I woke up in third quarter. Guys like, man, I'm going to head out, man. Blah blah. I was like, man. I was like, all right, cool. But I woke up, so guys went on, stayed around. But I didn't care. I just knew that wasn't for me, bro. That's the only time I've ever had any event or function, at my crib at all. Ever. Like, I just don't do it. I don't do it. Why? Because I like my peace. When those things happen, there's no peace in that. The more people you have around, the less likely you are to have peace. And I need my peace. You understand me? I need my peace, man. You know what I mean? I need my peace. So when you think about it, man, listen, it's easy to look at people's lives. Man, I have sympathy for a lot of people. If you're struggling or you're going through something, man, you're in a bad situation, a bad relationship, or even a bad marriage, if you had a job you don't like, man, listen, bro, I sympathize with everyone. But I can only empathize with those who are doing everything they're supposed to do and living the right way, and still can't find no peace, still can't find no joy, still can't find no success. That's the only one that I can empathize with, right? But here's the problem. Anyone who's doing everything they're supposed to do, living a life that's pleasing to God, man, living by the statutes and commandments to the best of their ability, avoiding evil, avoiding wickedness, man, sticking to dietary laws, doing all of that, man, not consuming liquor, not consuming, not being inebriated by substances. And then I've never met anyone who's doing all those things who doesn't have peace. I've never met anyone who's doing all of those things who doesn't have joy. I've never met anyone who's doing all of those things who isn't on the path that they want to be in life, who isn't waking up every day enjoying their life. I've never met anyone who's on the path. So I can't empathize with you, because I can only empathize if that's what you're going through. And even then, I can't empathize with that, because there's never been a point in my life, but I can empathize based on the book of Job. Based on what happened with Job, I can empathize, because I know it's possible for you to be tested that way. But Job is the only instance I've ever seen or heard of it. You know what I mean? So I can't empathize, but I can sympathize. When you empathize, that's emotional investment into someone else's issues. You can't afford to do that. You can't invest yourself emotionally into other people's issues and problems, because it will tank you. It will sink you. It will put you in a position in life where all of your work will go down the drain. Everything you fought for will go down the drain. Everything you stood for will go down the drain. You can't afford it. I can't afford it. We can't afford it. There's nothing in our lives that says that's a benefit to us. It'll never be a benefit to us. You understand me? And that's real, man. That is, bruh, that is the reality of what we're living in. So you can sympathize, but don't empathize. And people may say, man, you lack emotion. You're not human. Oh, yes, I'm human. I'm only human, of flesh and blood I'm made. I'm only human, born to make mistakes. You have to understand, when you empathize with people, you open yourself emotionally to their problems. What does that do? It opens up your trauma to your own issues. See, trauma is it's a can with a lid on it. When you pop the can off that trauma, you open that proverbial can of worms, and you never know what's going to come out of it. You know what I'm saying? You never know what's going to come out of it. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That's what it is. You have to put the lid on your trauma. We all have it, but you put a lid on it. You don't heal from your trauma. You put a lid on it so it doesn't affect your life. Trauma isn't something that you have to heal from. Trauma is something you have to put behind you. Let me get a sip of water, man. Knock this water down. So when we always talk about healing, as men, we don't have to heal from trauma. We have to compartmentalize trauma for what it is and put it behind us. We have to detach ourselves from the emotionality of whatever happened to us in the past. We have to. Because if not, you're going to be an open emotional sponge to other people, and you're going to soak up other folks' personal issues, man. You're going to soak up their trauma, their drama, their turmoil, their strife. You're going to soak up all of that, and it's going to destroy your life, man. You have to understand that. Yes, people may tell you something different, but I'm telling you how to protect your peace. If you don't want to protect your peace, then go out and do like everybody else. Be all emotional and go have, counseling for 20 years and all of that. Go do that. But if you turn your life over to God, truly turn your life over to the Most High, you don't have to go talk to nobody. You get spiritual healing. Emotional healing is for people who don't have spiritual healing. When you have spiritual healing, everything else takes over. When you elevate yourself spiritually to the level of spiritual astuteness, then everything else is perfect. So those intentional re-triggers for your own trauma is what you get when you open up yourself emotionally. And here's the thing. Unhealed people have destructive energy. People who call themselves unhealed, but let me tell you a secret. People who call themselves healed also have destructive energy. I want you to pay attention for the rest of this week, for the rest of this month even, for the rest of this year even, for the rest of your life. I want you to start paying attention to people who call themselves healed. People who always tell you you're unhealed because you lack emotional attachment. I want you to look at all those people and look at how they live their lives and compare their lives to the Word of God and then compare your life to the Word of God. All of those people live a life that's not pleasing to God. They just don't even pay attention to the Word of God, but they would rather go talk to someone who can help them believe that they're healed. Where if you're healed, why are you still going to counseling if you're healed? Put a one in the chat if you ever kept going to if you ever had physical therapy. Let's say you had a work-related injury, you had physical therapy. Put a one in the chat if you ever kept going to physical therapy after you were healed. Put a one in the chat if you ever stayed in a doctor after a surgery after you were healed. Put a one in the chat if you ever left your car in the shop after it was repaired. Put a one in the shop if you ever left your meal on the stove after it was done. Put a one in the chat if you ever knew somebody who stayed in prison for 10 more years after their 10-year sentence was served. A continuation of treatment means you are not healed. So people who call themselves healed are mostly still going to counseling. People who are unhealed are not even going to counseling. They're not doing anything. All of these people lack spiritual astuteness. They don't focus on their spirit, man. They focus on mental, emotional, and physical. And if you focus on your spirit, man, all of those other things fall into line. The word of God tells you how to care for yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, all of these things. If you live by the word, then you'll protect your peace, because all of the things that attack peace, all of the things that destroy peace, all of the things that overcome peace, all of the things that diminish peace, all of the things that lessen peace, all of the things that lower peace are things in the physical world. If you take care of yourself spiritually and become the best spiritual version of yourself, then all of those things are secondary to spirituality. So they automatically are fixed, are complete. It's all in the word, brothers. It's all there. We all know it's there. We know it's there. And if you don't know it's there, me and the brothers in chat are telling you it's there. Hey, man, stick a one in the chat if you know that the truth of living life and finding peace and avoiding strife and finding the success that you want in life is in the word of God. Put a one in the chat if you know it's in the word. Not because I said it, because you applied it yourself and it's in the word. Put a one in the chat if you know it's in the word. Everything you know, everything you need to know about every relationship you'll ever have in your life is in the word of God. You don't have to be taught. All you have to do is read it. All you have to do is right there. This is the book of life. This is the book of life, but it is also the book of death. It tells you how to navigate this world between the two realms of life and death and stay on the life side. And not just stay on the life side, have a fulfilling, peaceful, joyous life on the life side. You have to protect yourself. You can't protect other people from their own issues, their own trauma, their own drama with your peace. Your peace is not an umbrella. Your peace is a shelter that only fit one person. Put a one in the chat if you ever let anybody. Matter of fact, put a 2 in the chat if you have never let anybody else sit on the toilet with you. Put a 2 in the chat if no one else has ever sat on the toilet with you. That's the size of your peace. Your peace is just big enough for one person. Only one person. Now, you can help somebody find peace. You could tell them what you did to find peace. You could tell them what you did to approach peace. You could tell them what you did to hunt peace. You could tell them what you did to capture peace. You could tell them what you did to make sure you'll never release peace, but you can't share your peace with them. It's just one toilet. It's one half of a twin-size bed. Only you can fit on it. Only you can fit on it, man. A lot of people would rather follow someone else's lead so they don't have to be accountable for their own decision. Yes, if you follow someone else's lead, whatever happens, you can say, well, I just followed you. I didn't make that decision. You made it. I went the way you went. And you know what that allows you to do when you allow someone else to be accountable for your life because you just follow them, even though you know you shouldn't, especially if you're a man. If you let someone else lead you and you just follow blindly, you know what happens? You don't have to be accountable for what happens, but you also don't have to be accountable for fixing it. It's a lazy life. It's a lazy outlook on life. And so when you find a lot of people, that's what they're looking for. They're looking to be exposed to your peace. Listen, man, peace is attractive. When you're living in peace, it's attractive to those who are living in chaos. It's also attractive to others who are living in peace. That's why those who are living in peace flock together. Birds of a peaceful feather flock together. And those of a chaotic den just want to get in, but they can't blend. Don't think they're your friend. They just pretend when they really hit a content. So their invitation, you must resend. That's RESCIND, resend. So I want y'all to understand, man, listen, you have the right to protect your peace. Matter of fact, you have the duty to protect your peace. As a matter of fact, you have the responsibility to protect your peace. And all of these things I'm telling you, this is how you protect your peace. Because if you allow someone to, man, they will pour every single issue they have into your life. They'll dump it on you. Why? Because they tired of carrying the whole burden. They don't want to even carry half of it. They don't even want you to lighten their load. They want you to take the whole load off of them. Man, listen, there are people who think that their life is just supposed to be given to them. There are people who believe that. Now, technically speaking, a woman who's a worthy wife, yes, you may give her a life. But what does she give you? She give you freshness. That's why it was done that way. That's why other cultures, they stick to that. She gives you a woman who's never been with anyone except you, her husband. There are many relationship situations where people just go into a situation, they know that they're going to take on someone else's burdens. Man, listen, bro, burdens are heavy. Burdens are heavy, especially when you don't know the foundation of the burden, when you don't know what else comes with the burden. The burden itself is heavy. And then you get into it, the situation, you take on a burden, and then you realize, oh, wait a minute. This burden is even worse than I thought. This is what's going on with this burden. Oh, wait a minute. This is what's going on with this burden. And so you got to understand this. When God is dealing with someone, you got to stay out the way. A lot of time people living in chaos, God is just dealing with them. And I promise you, if you interfere with God dealing with someone, he will take the punishment that's meant from them and he will give it to you. Because how dare you get in the way of the Most High when he's doing his work? You don't want nobody to get in the way of the Most High when he's doing his work in your life. When you get no blessings, you don't want nobody to get in his way. If somebody get in the way of your blessing, what you going to do? Okay. Well, you got to understand this. All blessings don't come in the best form in the beginning. Some blessings are lessons. Matter of fact, the best blessings are lessons. Lessons are a monumental blessing for everyone. And some people, sometimes you meet people and it seems like their life in chaos. They're just learning a lesson. They're going through spiritual school. Now, unless you're a spiritual instructor on that level, you got to move out of the way. Sometime, man, you can't be in people's lives and direct them spiritually or correct them spiritually because they're not even ready to go to spiritual school yet. They're still out there living a worldly life. They're still out there living a life of turmoil. They're still out there living a life of willing sin. They're still out there living a life of chaos. And you got to understand, until someone's ready to come to spiritual school, you can't teach them. You understand? You could be the best professor at the best university on the planet. But the bottom line is, if someone doesn't go through the admissions process and actually enroll in the school, you can't teach them anything. And that's how it is with spiritual astuteness. You can't force it on someone. You can't demand that someone does it. You can't change someone into it. You can't transform someone spiritually into what they need to be. This is a decision that person has to make. And so you got to understand that a lot of times you're getting in God's way because God is dealing with someone. And so when it seems like they'll dump all of their issues on you, like I said before, no, God is dumping the consequences of their issues on you because you dared get in his way when he's working with them. That's why you have to be very careful of the state of people's lives when you deal with them, bro. You got to be careful because I promise you, the energy that they're in, the energy space that they're in, it may not even be conducive to have God's presence. So let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something right now. God can go where he want to go, but you can't take him where you want to. He can go where he want to go, but there are some places he won't even go by choice. So if he won't go to those places by choice, how you gonna try to take him there by force? The closer you get to those places, God stops at a certain point and be like, well, you go ahead if you want to. I ain't going with you. This is why I drop you off. Get out of my car. When the Most High tells you, get out of my car and keep going on your own, you better stay in that car and realize you can't go that way. If he ain't going to come in the midst of them on his own, who are you? He ain't going to go with you. You're going to go in there by yourself, the less spiritually astute version of yourself. That's why it's so easy for you to get caught up in somebody's trauma and drama because you're trying to take God somewhere he don't want to go. They don't deserve him now. So you're going to take him there anyway? And then you wonder why they sit there and they act like they're godly. They start to adapt the things that you're doing. They start to make these adaptations and adopt your outlooks, and you think that they're spiritually astute. You're too blind. You don't have the discernment because God stayed behind when you kept going, fool. You don't have the discernment to see that this person is simply copying your life. They're simply copying your lifestyle, and you think you got yourself somebody. You have to do it, man. When God tells you it's time for you to grow and go, you got to go. You got to move. You got to move, man. You got to move. You got to move, man. When it's time for you to go and grow, that's what you got to do. And it's tough, but it's only tough from an emotional perspective when you think about it. Emotionally, it's tough because here's the thing, brothers. Here's what I want y'all to understand. In order for you to become spiritually astute, you have to become emotionally aloof. You know what that means? You have to become emotionally aloof. You can't even be, you have to be so, people can actually call you emotionally dumb. That's where you have to be. You have to be so emotionally aloof that people refer to you as emotionally unavailable. You're just never there. You're all of these things. You have to be emotionally not friendly or forthcoming. You have to be emotionally cool and distant. Lack of emotional attachment just means you're emotionally distant. You have to stay out of your emotions and never to get into your spirit, man, because spiritually there is no wiggle room. Emotionally, there's a bunch of wiggle room. Spiritually, there's no wiggle room. Don't do this. This will happen. Do this. This will happen. That's just the way it is. We're in a free flowing world where everyone just flows freely and does whatever they want to do and lives however they want to live and goes wherever they want to go and does whatever they want to do, and that's not the way it should be. And if you get into that, you get that transference of energy. You go into a room where all the energy is bad, you're coming out of there with bad energy. We've all experienced that. You go into a room where you kind of down, and you go into a room where all the energy is positive, you come out of there, your energy is on tilt. You understand? Your energy just went through the roof. So you have to constantly be in the mindset of surrounding yourself with those types of people, surrounding yourself with people who can match your energy. When you come in with all positive energy, you need to go in and get some more positive energy. When you come in with all uplifting energy, you need to be going to get some more uplifting energy, all the way down to the music that people play. There are certain places I won't go because of the music that's played. I just won't do it. You know what I'm saying? There are businesses who have lost my business. They've lost my patronage. Why? Because of the music they play, because of something that goes on in their environment. I just stopped going. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. I'll tell the owner or I tell the manager or whoever's in charge, I'll tell them that, hey, listen, this is a phenomenal place and I want to be able to come back, but this right here is going to be an issue for me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I get it. If that's your thing, then, I enjoy it, but I won't be back. I just tell them. You know what I'm saying? And if they say, yeah, we can make an adjustment for you, or blah blah blah, yeah, yes, yeah, you're not the first person who said that, so yeah, we'll make an adjustment. Cool. They got a patron for life if they keep the quality of the business up. But other than that, bro, I just take a seat and sit down, man. I take a seat and sit down, man. You have to understand that depending on the severity of someone's mental or emotional degradation, it can ruin your life just to be around them, just to talk to them, just to have them in your environment, just to be in their environment. It can ruin your life. You understand? Because at a certain point, I know you've met people before who their issues are so deep that they have an atheist outlook. They just don't even believe that there is God. They just bow out of that. There's nothing in them that believes anything about there is God or God is this or God is whatever. They don't care what you say God is. They don't believe he exists at all. They don't know him. They don't even believe in him. None of that. You know what I'm saying? And you know what we say about believing is one thing to say you, but at least you acknowledge the existence of God if you say you believe in God. But knowing God is the real deal. These people have no acceptance of any existence of God, bro. Man, you mean tell me that God done sent you off the ledge to go be around that person? Now he ain't coming around them. So you got to understand, man, that people who have that low energy, that the people who have a draining energy about them, bro, that's all they do is drain. It's not like they drain sometime and then other times they give. They're on 100% of the time drain mode. You know what I'm saying? They're on 100% drain mode 100% of the time. So whenever you're around them, it's draining. Whenever they're around you, it's draining. Conversing with them is draining. Hell, thinking about them is draining. And you got to understand that you as a man of God, as a someone seeking peace, as a hunter of blessings, you have to understand that there is no blessings over there with them. If there are no blessings in an environment, don't go. If there are no blessings around someone, don't have them around. If there are no blessings in this food, don't eat it. If there are no blessings coming from this music, don't listen to it. If there are no blessings in this movie, don't watch it. Like, let me tell you something, brothers. Yes, God's word is strict, but I promise you, the more you choose to live by it and live that strict life, the more you do it and get into even the small things that people overlook, like a righteous man, keepeth his ears from hearing the blood and keeping his eyes from seeing violence. You got to think about it, bro. Think about all of these things. Think about how easy that sounds, but then how hard it is. Think about all the movies that you've watched in your life that have violence and bloodshed in it. Think about that. Just think about it. Think about all the music you've listened to that has those same elements. Now think about the likelihood and possibility of you blocking all that stuff out and never watching it. Never watching it. You see what I mean? It's totally different. And you can see their environment of when you watch these young kids, they play games like Grand Theft Auto. When they play GTA, bro, they're out in the streets living a real life GTA. The Atlanta airport has had 100 stolen vehicles so far this year. And all they stealing is fast cars, the Dodge Demons, the Hellcats. They stealing all the Hellcat SRTs. They taking the Trackhawks. They stealing all of those just so they can go out and just joyride them in Grand Theft Auto. They'll really steal a car and go out in Grand Theft Auto for a couple of days. Play real life GTA for a couple of days. Why? Because that energy is strong. Even the best of us, we're only who we are because we understand the price of peace. We understand that we understand to protect our peace. We understand to stay in a position of peace. That's why we're great. That's why we're good. That's why we can sit and talk all this positive talk, because we protect our peace. Go out there and not protect your peace. Throw caution to the wind and go out there and just be around everything and be with anybody and do anything and watch how fast your peace goes away. Watch how fast it goes away. Man, I don't even park my little buggy at ATL Airport no more, man. I just fly over there. I just fly over there and get a rental car, bro. You understand? I don't park my buggy there no more, man. You know what I'm saying? I got a fast buggy. I don't even worry about it no more, man. I don't worry about it. So I want y'all to understand, man. You gotta understand that you can't protect people from their own demons. You can't protect people from their own issues. You can't do it. And I'll tell you something else. When someone with low vibration is around you, when someone with negative energy is around you, their energy may seem to start getting positive to you, and you convince yourself that you have changed their energy by your influence. No, you're so focused on and cocky and pompous on your ability to help heal someone that you don't even understand their energy is becoming more positive because your energy is becoming more negative. Let's look at it on a scale of percentages. Let's say your energy is 98% positive and their energy is 98% negative. Now, when their energy is 70% positive, it's because your energy is now 70% negative. You understand me? That positive energy that they've gained when they've jumped up to 98%, it's the 98% that you lost. So they were 98% negative, you were 98% positive. Now you've given them your positive, and now you're just at 70% positive. They've been able to replace 28% of their negative and put it on positive. Now you're seeing them. Now they're at 7. Let me put it like this. You're at 98% negative. They're at 98% positive. Now they're at 70%. They're at 90%, 98% negative. Now they're at 70% negative. You think that them being at 70% negative means that they're positive. It doesn't. It means that they've drained 28% of your energy. And now they're sitting over there looking 70% positive, with 70% negative, which is still negative. That 28% didn't make them positive. It just made them less negative. Their entire energy, the entire 98% was negative. So just because it goes down to 70 doesn't mean it's positive. It's still negative. But now you're down at 70% positive. You see what I mean? So no matter what you do, you can't heal them by giving them your energy. It doesn't work that way. That's not how energy works. I hope that made sense, man. That's not how energy works. Energy is an internal thing. They have to listen to you and explain what you did to get into your positive energy space. And they got to do that in their own lives. You can't go into their life and give them positive energy when they still got a whole bunch of negative people in their life. They got to cut the negative people loose. They got to go through the process that you went through. They got to go through the process that I went through. They got to go through these things. They got to make sure they do them. And then when they do these things, that's when they get to the point where they can start to build some peace. It just ain't going to happen, bruh. Because 70% negative is heading back up to 98% negative very soon. That's a lot of negative energy. Just like you're 70% positive, it can head back up. I want to give y'all an example of what I'm saying. If you have a 100 grade in math in school, right? That means that all you've made is 100. Your number score was 100, which is A plus, however you want to put it. Or let's do free throw percentage. In the NBA, free throw percentage. If you're at 100% free throw percentage, that means you haven't missed one. And then you finally miss one, you could never miss one again. And you'll never be at 100% again. Ever. Because 100% means you never missed. So once you miss a couple, 100% is done for you forever. If you go on a streak where you're shooting 69%, before you know it, you're down to 69%. You got to play 2 seasons in the 90s to even get back into the 80s. You understand? You got to play 2 seasons at 95% to even get back to 80% from 69%. That's how peace works. When you give it away, you're just stuck. Like you don't get it back. Because you got to think about this. You were doing everything in your power. You were doing everything as perfectly as you could to have that 98% peace. You drop that down to 70%. How much more energy you think you got to give more? How much more you think you can give? You'll never get back to 98% again, bruh. That's how you have to view it. It'll take a blessing from God. God will have to bless you individually and independently in order for you to get back to 98% after you drop to 70 because you got the wrong people in your life, bro. I want y'all to understand that this is not a tough thing to do. The tough part comes when you're fool enough to allow your peace to be used by someone who doesn't even want peace. Many people, they don't want to fix their issues. They just want you to take the burden off of them. There's a lot of people who enjoy the joy of what they do. They love doing it. They love whatever pleasure or whatever benefit they think they get from it. If they could take away the consequence, they would rather just keep doing that thing. They don't want to change it and just let it go completely. They just want you to take off some of the burden of the consequence. And you got to understand that, brothers. You got to understand that. You got to protect your peace with everything in you. You got to, man. Because without peace, there is no hope. And without hope, what is your reason? Without hope, what is your reason? People go to school in hopes of having a better life than their parents did, or having a better life than they did growing up. People start businesses in hopes of having a better life than they did. People become content creators in hopes of having more freedom than they had, and in hopes of having more fulfillment than they had. Without peace, there is no hope. Without hope, there is no reason. Reason for what, Father Ray Ray? Reason for anything. Without hope, there is no reason. What's your reason if you don't hope? What's your reason if you can have a positive outlook on something because you hope to get to a better position? Faith is just hope on steroids. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Faith is hope magnified by 10,000. So without hope, you can't even have faith, because hope is the foundation of faith. Without it, there's nothing. And I tell y'all this. If you don't put God first in everything you do, there is no peace. How do you put God first in everything you do? You know what? That'll be another topic for us later on this week. How to put God first in everything you do. And that's what I want y'all to understand, man, that peace of mind is so priceless, brothers. There is no price on it. I would sacrifice, compromise, and trade everything I ever had, everything I got right now, and everything I'll ever have if that would guarantee me peace of mind for the rest of my life. Peace of mind is a state where nothing bothers you. You have no concerns. Why? Because you have done everything God wanted you to do to have the life that you wanted. So you know there's nothing coming back to bite you because you haven't done anything to get bitten. You know there's nothing coming back to slight you because you haven't done anything to get slighted. You know there's nothing come back to repay you because you haven't done anything that needs repayment. You know there's not anything coming back to delay you because you haven't done anything that needs to be delayed. That's peace. Peace of mind is built from your internal man. It is built. And when you have it, you have no concerns in life. Nothing worries you. Nothing bothers you. Nothing moves you into a negative outlook. Nothing changes your positivity. Nothing changes your energy. You live in a different level of life than everyone else. And I would implore you to do everything in your power to experience that, because it is the greatest high you could ever experience. When you hear people say, man, I'm high off life, I'm on a natural high, that's somebody who's living in peace of mind. That's all peace of mind is a state of being on a natural high, man, every single day. And bro, I'm going to be honest with you, it's such an amazing place to be. And I want you all to experience, man. I want every one of you to experience that. And if you're experiencing it now, man, put a one in the chat for the peace. Put a one in the chat for the peace, man. Harry, appreciate you, brother. God says, son, it's time to grow. I said, let's go. There it is, bro. There it is. God says, time to grow. I said, let's go. Family members are the worst ones who can drain you. They are, man. They are. Because they're the ones who you allow the closest. They're the ones who you allow the closest. You allow them so close to you that they can take advantage of your kindness. They can take advantage of your emotional attachment. Those are the ones who take your kindness for weakness, because they can. Because it's never just one act of kindness with them. Like, it's continual kindness with them, and you're able to see over time that they don't value it. And so that's why they're the first people that you let go of. They're the first people you get away from, because they're the first people who I thought I put my one in there too. I didn't. I ain't put my one in there, man. Yeah, I did. All right, brother. So listen, I appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. And that's how you protect your peace of mind from those who have no peace of their own. I'll see you guys later, man. King Ray Ray. Father Ray Ray. We in the building, man, right now. Salute to everyone in the building. Famo, I appreciate you, bro. GC, I appreciate you, brothers, man. Let's head on out of here, man. Y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing, my brothers. Peace.